Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and today we are talking about a whole dog approach: enrichment, fitness, and family fun. We have a special guest today. Her name is Caitlin, and she has a blog. So it's Sparkles and Sunshine blog, and it's really more than a blog. It is a website with so much. So Caitlin, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So I found you on Instagram. I saw some really great videos of you doing how do I put this? You were doing exercises with dogs that weren't too intimidating. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you see people on social media and you're like, I can't do that. That's too intimidating. My dog would never. And the way you presented it, I was like, wait, like this makes sense. This is doable. Like this should be shared with everyone. And so that's how I found you.
You know, I really appreciate that because that's honestly kind of my goal from the start, is to show people how easy it can be to do something like that with their dog and teach them like a little exercise that has so many benefits. Because I feel like it's similar to when people work out, right? You see these people on Instagram doing these heavy lifting or doing this insane bar class or something, and it looks so hard, or sometimes it can look unattainable, and it deters people from wanting to try. But I feel like when it's broken down in a way that's just easy to digest, more pet parents see how fun it is to do a new thing with their dog, which is all I want. So I love that you said that.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself and kind of how you got started with Sparkles and Sunshine.
Yeah. So I worked at a company out of college doing their social medias and marketing and all of that. And I was kind of looking for an outlet that was something that could be just mine. Because obviously when you work for a brand, they have their focus and what they're trying to do. And I was like, well, I kind of want something that's mine. And ironically enough, I started as like a fashion blogger, which I like style, but like is not my thing. And when I realized that, I was like, well, what do I love? And I was like, oh my God, dummy dogs. And so I started the blog and I focused on product reviews, enrichment, and canine fitness. And then in the past, I'd say 2 years, I've really kind of narrowed that down to the enrichment and canine fitness space, and just trying to show people how much of a fun life they can have with their pets in various different ways, whether it's mental, physical, you name it.
I love that. And you just talked about the main two things we're going to talk about today. So enrichment and canine fitness. And I know I've talked about both before, and I think it's good to talk about them in different ways and to give people different options. And I think sometimes those terms are kind of just thrown around. And so I always think it helps to kind of like break it down, again, make it like digestible. So let's start with enrichment. And I want to hear, like, what does enrichment mean to you?
So I simplify enrichment as easy as this. It is letting your dog be a dog. Like, that's literally it. Our dogs have noses that are meant to find hundreds of things. They have over 300 million, or I think they have over 100 million scent receptors in their noses. I think bloodhounds have like over 300. It's something insane. They're meant to find things. Dogs love challenges. They love exploring. They love doing things. It's basically creating experiences and activities to let your dog do what they were made to do. Most dogs were born and bred to do a job, like border collies or scent hounds or anything like that, or corgis, you know, you name it. And our mixed breeds are filled with so many different breeds of fun. They're meant to do things, and it's basically just finding fun activities that really heighten what they love to do.
Yeah, my dog, so I have Pomeranians, and I think I read in Germany they were used as security dogs, and they accomplished that. Not a single squirrel or bird goes by without barking. So like our house is secure. I'm not worried about our house.
Yeah.
But outside of that enrichment for them, they all like something different. So
Yeah.
one of my dogs is very, very food motivated. And so anything with like food, treats, chewing. I have another dog that's very toy motivated. And
Yeah.
so anything with toys and plushies and balls and tried to get him into frisbees. He's not into frisbees.
I
And
get that.
something that, yeah, yeah, it's difficult. Something that all of my dogs love though are puzzles. And, I feel kind of silly. I ordered some puzzles from Amazon and I probably spent too much money if we're all just being honest here. So I ordered a couple puzzles, and then for my oldest dog, I ordered a snuffle mat. I could have made
Oh,
that,
there.
honestly,
I
but
have a DIY. You got to check out my DIY. It's literally using a sink mat and fabric. It is so easy and so
oh,
affordable. But snuffle mats, that is one of my all-time favorites. So I love the choice.
hmm yeah. And for my oldest dog, for him, it's just easier. It's still enrichment, but I feel like it's like good
Yeah.
for like his kind of stage in life because he's not super big on like moving the little plastic pieces or like flipping something over. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. And
So
and
I
what's
wanted
cool about enrichment
to.
too is you can really change the levels. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So, yeah, so changing the levels like kind of based on age. And what do you feel like is like the most kind of important thing about engaging in enrichment with your dog?
So I feel like the biggest thing is finding out kind of what they do like and figuring out all the different ways you can do it and finding out things that you can do together. Like I feel like I love doing puzzles and stuff like that too, because it's fun to add in, right? I use them as like the reward in between my dog's fitness sets and stuff like that. But then it's other activities where it's like it's kind of that bonding aspect too. Like for instance, you have dogs that, if you do have a dog that you take outside and they love to kind of sniff around. One of my favorite activities is a sniffari. And that's basically letting your dog go out on a walk and smell everything. And a way that that can also be extremely fun for you too is find a local state park. Go enjoy some beautiful scenery and make sure it's dog friendly. That's important. A lot of
Hmm.
them are. But like you can enjoy such a nice day out with your dog. They're going to have the best day. They're going to be exhausted after just from sniffing for like 30 minutes. You got your steps in for the day and you had fun with your dog
Hmm.
too. It's such a win-win. So to me that's my biggest thing is like the engagement is just it's seeing how much they have fun with the activity and it's bonus points if you're part of it.
Yeah, I love that. I love the snifari. That's so cute. I never heard that term. That's perfect. What other recommendations do you have? Like what are your top, I don't know, three or four enrichment ideas?
So I'll do three different categories, and then I'm going to give you another bonus of where you can even get some phenomenal ideas. So the first one, if it's food based, I'm going to go back to that snuffle mat. I love snuffle mat. They are fantastic. And especially too that they can be so affordable. Like you can find them on Amazon, and I love that you did. But I will say, the DIY versions, whether you use my tutorial or someone else's, I do find that they last longer. And the quality is
Mm.
just a little better. So that's already a pro tip too. The second one is physical, which we're going to get into, which is canine fitness. That is one of my favorites just because it's a mental and physical enrichment exercise at the same time, and we'll go into why. And then the third one would have to be, let me see, kind of want to go into environmental. That could be either a socialization activity, whether it is going to see family and friends and walking about and letting them kind of be with people that they really love and have fun with, getting them out and about, or it is that snifari where they can just take in all of the smells and stuff that they usually might see from their window and they don't always get to go out because that's like letting them see something and then it's coming to life. I love those top three. And I'm pretty sure you know the person I'm about to suggest, but if anyone doesn't, one of my really good friends that I met from Instagram and being a pet blogger is Tori Mystic. She is
Hmm.
phenomenal. And she had this series that she launched in 2025. It's the Dog Enrichment with Tori Mystic. And I'm a super big dog nerd. Shocker, I'm talking all about dogs on this episode. But she breaks down all the different kinds of enrichment in a way that was so well done and easy to digest. I just absolutely loved it. And she gives multiple ideas in every episode. So if you're looking for a ton of ideas and you really want to learn even more about it, I just think she does such a phenomenal job. And I am mentioned in the physical episode as well. So you'll hear my name come up again. But every episode is just great. And I tell everyone about that podcast, anyone I meet that's looking to learn more about this, because it's just great.
I love Tori. Tori was on last season and we talked about enrichment, and I'm pretty sure we could have done a 20-part series because
You
she
can.
just had so many ideas. Yeah.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
great.
So I think those are all great ideas. Now, you alluded to the canine fitness portion. And so before we get into any specifics, I think people hear canine fitness, and again, it's so intimidating because you immediately kind of think of either like agility dogs or
Yeah.
ring dogs, bite dogs, that kind of thing. And people are like, "Oh, I can't do that. I don't have time, or
Yep.
my dog isn't interested." And so, how would you define canine fitness?
Yeah, I absolutely love that you said that, because that was also a reason why I made a ton of videos showing my extra large breed Diesel, because I kind of saw the same thing when I first started. All I saw was, and the funny thing is I want these dog breeds, so I'm not knocking them because they're on my list of dream dogs. But
Right, right.
all I would see is border collies, Australian shepherds, the top agility dog breeds. I'd see Malinois if we're talking bite work. I'd see a little bit, anything like that that was such a sport known dog. Those were the only dogs I saw doing fitness. And I was like, well, fitness is for all dogs. Like, just like all people need to exercise and stay flexible and mobile and moving, because that's how we all stay here. That's how we're all still doing stuff, is we all have to stay moving. And so I started showing videos of that because I wanted people to see it. So to me, canine fitness is just showing how, and it's learning how to keep all dogs of all ages, sizes, breeds, whatever, staying happy, healthy, mobile, moving. And my biggest thing is confident. That is my number one thing with canine fitness. I think a lot of people think it's just strength related. I can tell you firsthand how much it changes a dog's confidence for the better. So that's how I would define it. And it's really cool when you see the transformations of these dogs.
hmm And let's talk about fitness at each stage of life. So maybe you can kind of help us think about, like, what does it mean when a puppy does canine fitness, when an adult dog does it, and when a senior dog does it, because we know it's going to look a little different. So, like, break it down for us a little bit.
Yeah, so for our puppies, they're learning foundations of everything, right? They've only been on this earth for so long, and they're just still they're figuring out where even their own feet are. And fun fact, most dogs are, because all dogs have no idea they even have back feet. They carry 60% of the weight up front, 40 in the back. We're trying to teach them that 40 in the back has a reason. We're teaching those foundational behaviors. We're teaching targeting cues that aid in numerous exercises, but they also aid in stillness, because I'm sure we've all had a puppy that's like, "Oh my God, awesome," because it is. And if we have such explosiveness in everything, we might not always get the control movements that we need. So we're teaching targeting, we're teaching foundation exercises that they're not holding on to a lot of different pieces of equipment. They're not stabilizing on all of those inflatables that you see in a lot of high level, fitness training exercises. They're not doing any of that. They're just starting the basics on the ground, learning it from the start, because once they do that and they start to age into the adult, what those adult dogs are also focusing on is correct posture, and they're adding more strength components. We're starting to add some balance challenges. Maybe you will see those inflatable pieces of equipment so we can test their instability, and that's whether you have a pet dog or a sport dog. And then as your dog kind of ages into their senior years, from there we want to maintain a couple of things, because as dogs get older, the things that kind of go are hind end strength and body awareness and balance. And so we want to make sure that we're keeping their hind end strong, and we're making sure they know where they are, because sometimes they lose that sense of, oh, well, I didn't know I needed to pick up my foot here. So doing exercises that aid in that and doing soft balance challenges or soft strength challenges are what's going to keep them going and allow them to keep doing their favorite things with you.
hmm And well, I'll get to that in a second. Let's okay. Now, would you say that a lot of what you offer or suggest can get everyone in the family involved? And let me back that up a little bit. So, this kind of goes back to that preconceived notion of like, oh, it's only people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that can engage in this like fitness regimen. When I think
Yeah.
you and I know it's so great for the kids, for grandma, grandpa, or even
Yeah.
elderly owners to kind of get
Yeah.
involved. So, do you have stuff on Sparkles and Sunshine blog that allows the entire family to be involved in canine fitness?
Absolutely. And what's kind of funny is if you, and I know a lot of people are going to laugh when they hear this because half of them are going to know it's true and the other half might be a little surprised. If you go to any dog club, if you go to a sporting trial, if you go to a dog show, I'm going to tell you the majority of the people are not our age. They're just not, they want
Hmm.
more people our age to get into the sport and they enjoy it. But if you think about it, the people that have the time to do this are retired people and kids. They have the
Yeah.
most time. So that is what I see at the majority of our agility classes or dog training classes or events because that's just it. Now, again, there's a ton of young people getting into it and I love to see it and it makes me happy. But don't be shocked when you see that and it's kind of fun because the people that have all that time, some of them have been doing it a long time and we can actually learn a lot from
Hmm.
them. I ask questions to some of my agility friends all the time. But going back to getting the whole family involved too, absolutely. I actually have a client of mine who's a veterinarian. And one of the things, she has a senior dog. One of the things we did in her program was teaching touch, like nose touches. And that's a form of targeting. And when I showed her that, she's like, oh, that'll be a really cool thing I can teach the kids and they can be part of this too. That was immediately her answer because they do horses like I do too. And they have a lot of animals at home. And so they love already doing things with animals. So it was a really easy thing to introduce them like, oh yeah, this is, you can do this. There's some foundational beginner exercises that you can learn just again on the ground. One of them I've shared on my Instagram before is rear paw targeting. That's just on a yoga mat or a rug and just literally tossing a treat back behind it, letting the dog come forward to a certain point and doing it again. A kid could easily do that. A grandparent could do that sitting in a chair so they're not injuring any back or pressures on their knees. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of
Hmm.
easy things that anybody can do to have fun and just get started with it and just kind of get into that foundational area. I absolutely there's a ton, and I have on my blog I have so many different like resources and blog posts showing exercises. But anybody can do it as long as you are looking at the proper form, or if you have questions about it, easily you can ask me. But that's anyone can do any of it. That's the best part.
Hmm. I think sometimes, like for humans, whenever we want to get back into working out or start a new class, it's just like, oh my gosh, there's so much. I need a plan. And I know that you do custom canine fitness plans. So, what comes with your plan whenever you are offering that to someone?
Yes, so that's a great question. So, and the reason why custom canine fitness plans are a thing, because I feel like this is important to share too, is because every dog actually needs different things. Whether it is a sport dog or a pet dog, it doesn't always even come down to that necessarily. Every dog is built different, right? My extra large breed Diesel is way different than my border collie Aussie mix Annie. They just are, and they do different things. And dogs are also built different structurally, so they may have stronger muscle in one area than another, which can affect their posture. So when we do a custom fitness plan, I actually look at your dog. I look at how they move in everyday movements like a sit, stand, down, stuff like that. I look at their body position. And then I also look at their gait to see how they're moving. Do we see, are they compensating on something? Does that mean they should maybe go to the vet? Because I'm not a veterinarian, but if I'm going to see something, maybe I can help. Or if I see, oh, well, it looks like, as an example, a posture. Sometimes dogs sit what's called bunny feet with their back feet. They're kind of toes out. And a lot of people think it's cute,
Hmm.
but they actually need to have their feet more tucked in at their sides because that's bringing in the muscles correctly and enabling them to stabilize themselves correctly. So if I see a dog that might have that, that would be part of their program. And so in it, we do that evaluation. We combine that with the information they fill out about their dog, with what their goals are. And from there, we build their exercises based on what they need. And it goes for a month. We evaluate at the beginning and at the end of that 4 weeks. And then from there, we determine if we want to keep going together. I'll give a couple little tips on how they can continue it on their own. But you get a lot. You get an eval, a custom fitness plan for a month, a second eval, and of course you can access me anytime with any questions. So it's a really cool thing to be able to have something just for your dog, especially if they do have a job or a sport that they love, or if you're just looking to keep your dog happy, healthy, and moving.
On last week's episode, we talked a lot about just like injury prevention and aiding in arthritis. And a lot of that is just keeping your dog moving. And like you said, strengthening things that need to be strengthened, whether that's different tendons and ligaments, especially like for my dogs, those knees, those patellas, all over the place. And so strengthening everything around that.
Small dog thing. Yeah. Oof.
Yes. Every Pomeranian I've ever had, those patellas are anywhere but where they need to be. And I'm just like, So, question for you on the plan. So you do in person around Central Florida, and then you do virtual, right?
Yes, yeah. I've actually done a handful in person and a lot of virtual because everyone's just located everywhere. But we do either is whatever is easiest for the person, whether it's Google Meet, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever is convenient for them. Yeah.
And then are you offering a discount for the Canine Culture listeners?
I am. I'm glad you brought it up. Yes, for everyone who's listened to this episode, you'll get 10% off a custom fitness plan. And again, that covers everything there. And I've put together a fun little sign-up page that will give you a free mini canine fitness exercise guide. It's like a little beginner, here's some foundational exercises. Plus, once you sign up for that, in the email back, it'll give you details with the discount on how you can get the custom fitness plan and all of that. So that way, if you want to sign up, you can. But no matter what, you have this really cool little freebie to start learning and start trying things with your dog.
I love that. I can't wait to share that with everyone listening. And just so everyone knows, where can they find you? So, website, social media, tell us all of the places.
Yes. So on every channel, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, I'm Sparkles and Sunshine Blog. My website is sparklesandsunshineblog.com. And I've officially, as of last week, I got the approval from the state of Florida, but I'm now, my canine fitness business, Sunshine Canine, is official. And I'm working on building the website and everything for that. So once that's fully launched, I'm assuming probably like April. This episode's coming out before that. I'll hit you back up and be like, hey, here's this too. But on my regular blog and everything, you'll find me and be able to contact me no matter what on any of those channels, whichever is your favorite.
That's awesome. And we're also going to include, if you're listening to this in the show notes, there will be links that you can click on to try to find Caitlin, to get a hold of her, to order a custom canine fitness plan. So that will also be there. And if you follow us on social media, she will also be tagged there. So Caitlin, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us all of this information. I think it's going to be great.
No, I really hope everyone loved it and finds it helpful. And again, if you guys have any questions about anything I shared or you have questions about your dog, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm excited to hear from you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.